Considered one of the most mysterious and secretive countries in the world, North Korea never ceases to amaze. Through testimonies from defectors and a hand-picked selection of tourists allowed into the country, the world has seen the extent to which the government controls its citizens' lives. So let's take a look at things that are normal in the rest of the world and are illegal in North Korea, as well as some crazy laws that can only exist in this country. You can't leave the country or travel around. It may be customary for you and your family to plan some well-deserved vacation at the end of the year. After all, traveling is one great way of disconnecting from school and work. Well, that's one thing you can't do in there. North Korean citizens are forced to stay in the country for the rest of their lives, and anyone crossing the border without official documents will be shot by guards. Even traveling around the country is highly restricted. If you go to a different region without the government's approval, you'll be hunted down and punished severely. Keep this in mind as we go through the rest of this list. Over the years, thousands of North Koreans have risked their lives to leave the country, which might say something about life there. Only government-approved haircuts. In 2013, North Korea's leader Kim Jong-un introduced a law that limited the available haircuts for all citizens. The list contains 28 different haircuts. 10 for men and 18 for women from which people can choose. Men are not allowed to have their hair longer than 2 inches, and often married women are required to wear short haircuts, while single women can have longer ones. The funny thing is that Kim Jong-un didn't include his hairstyle in the list because he wanted to keep it unique. If you copy his style, you will be heavily punished. Foreign movies and music are banned. The government tightly controls the media, and North Korean citizens are prohibited from watching films, TV shows, or even listening to music from abroad, especially from South Korea, their neighboring country. There have been reports of students that were executed for selling South Korean movies and dramas on USB and SD cards. Anyone caught watching a foreign film is first sent to a labor camp. The second time, the violator and their parents will be sentenced to 5 years in a correctional labor camp. Parents are punished for failing to educate their children properly. If the same crime is committed a third time, the death penalty will be given regardless of age. The same thing happens with music. The only music approved by North Korea's government is the one that praises the Kim leadership. K-pop is strictly prohibited, but they have their equivalents. Only that they only sing government propaganda. In 1992, a female regime propaganda officer sang a South Korean song at a party. She was thrown in jail for 3 years, severely beaten, and couldn't walk for a month. There's no freedom of religion. North Korea is officially an atheist country. Well, kind of. The only allowed religion is the worshipping of the Kim family, and anyone who's found practicing a different religion is expected to receive a heavy punishment. Just owning a Bible can get you thrown into a prison camp, tortured, or even publicly executed. In 2013, 80 people were executed in front of a packed stadium for owning a Bible. It is believed that there are over 100,000 religious people in prison camps and around 400,000 underground Christians in the country. One of the main arguments for the regime to ban Bibles is that, according to defectors, the Kims basically copied it. Kim Il-sung apparently made himself God, and Kim Jong-il his son, Jesus. The 3-generation punishment. Now, you'll probably keep thinking about this one during the rest of the video, because all the punishments mentioned may be carried away like this. If anyone commits a crime in North Korea, not only will they be punished, but also their grandparents, parents, and children. That's right. Punishments in North Korea may apply to the assailant's entire bloodline for 3 generations too. This law was instituted in 1950 and was supposed to eliminate the blood lineage of counter-revolutionary North Koreans after the war. Now it's thought to be implemented to prevent prisoners from escaping, with numerous rumors of mass starvation and slavery in prison camps. It might make sense that the convicts are desperate to break away. You must cry your eyes out. When a North Korean leader dies, citizens are required to show intense public mourning and hysteria as a sign of their admiration. In 2011, when Kim Jong-il died, the government declared 100 days of mourning. During those days, anyone found laughing or singing could be sent to a prison camp with their families. Also, anyone who refused to go to the streets to cry for their leader could even face execution. Sometimes undercover government agents checked if the crying looked sincere. If not, your life could be in danger. But this wasn't a one-time thing. Each 8th of July, smiling and speaking too loudly is considered a crime against the state, as it commemorates the death of Kim Il-sung. Also in 2021, on the 10th anniversary of Kim Jong-il's death, the government banned everyone from laughing, drinking alcohol, and shopping for 11 days. If a loved one died during this time, you were not allowed to cry out loud, and their body could only be taken out after the mourning period. Also, if your birthday happened to fall within this same period, you guessed it. Need for Speed? It is estimated that only 1 to 10 people out of every 1,000 in North Korea own a car. This scarcity has many reasons. North Korea is an impoverished country. The average salary is around $2 to $3 a month, so only very few people can afford a car. Plus, the only way to get foreign vehicles into the country is through smuggling. Let's say you can afford a car and its way into the country. Well, government regulations limit that only 1 in 100 people can legally own a vehicle. Still positive? Unless you're a government official, it's better to give up your hopes. Those approved are only male government employees. And what about female government employees? Unfortunately, in North Korea, women are prohibited from driving. The government decides if you can live in the capital. Kim Jong-un wants only the most successful, wealthy, and influential people to live in North Korea's capital, Pyongyang. In what may seem straight out of a dystopian sci-fi movie, the only way for you to live and work in the capital is to have direct permission from the regime first. As a resident of another part of North Korea, it might be nearly impossible for you to visit the city. The first thing you'll need, if we recall the first item on this list, you'll need a travel certificate. These permissions are hard to get, especially for Pyongyang, as they tend to be expensive. Some defectors say that even with permission, you'll often be required to bribe some people along the way to get there. If you make it to the capital, you will likely find everything super expensive, as people from Pyongyang tend to earn considerably more than the rest of the country. If you want to live in that city, you don't only need wealth, but also need to prove to be the most loyal to the regime. So if you don't particularly agree with everything happening in the country, chances are that you won't be accepted or your permission will be revoked, in case you already live there. You can't make international calls. The government not only prohibits North Koreans from leaving the country, it strictly banned its citizens from contacting the outside world, even with neighboring countries like China or South Korea, where many people have relatives. Making an international call is an aggravated crime and a way of getting killed. According to reports, in 2007, a North Korean factory boss was taken to a stadium and publicly executed by a firing squad in front of 150,000 witnesses after being accused of making international calls from 13 phones he installed in his factory basement. Watch your mouth. By now, you shouldn't be surprised, but the North Korean regime is highly sensitive to what people think about them. Opinions are against the law. Suppose you share a thought that contradicts a decision made by the government or any of Kim's rulings. In that case, you'll be sent away to a re-education camp where you will likely be brainwashed, threatened, and even tortured to get you in line with the rest of the population. But this doesn't stop there. If what we just mentioned sounds like Kim Jong-un is a little insecure, you'll be surprised to learn that sarcasm is illegal in North Korea, and it has all to do with a film. In 2014, Seth Rogen and James Franco starred in The Interview, a spy comedy that took the piss out of Kim Jong-un and was about a plot to assassinate the North Korean leader. Reports say that he got so angry that he did everything he could to prevent the film from being released. A North Korean hacker group attacked Sony Pictures, requesting to withdraw the movie, and threatened to carry out terrorist attacks in the movie theaters that premiered the film. Even though the government has since denied all responsibility, from that moment, sarcastic comments about the leader and his party have been reportedly punished by disappearing the Joker and their family. In 2016, expressions such as "this is all America's fault" were banned after many people used them to criticize the government indirectly. We know there are many more crazy laws in North Korea and stuff that may seem regular in your country, but it's banned in that place. So what other items would you add to this list? Would you venture into visiting this country? Let us know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video, and don't forget to stay curious.